remember several years ago, you and myself, Susie Gans, Drew Greenback, Gene Berner, we went to the Senate Finance Committee. You did an amazing job of presenting the impact of Maryland manufacturing on Maryland's economy. And if I recall, Gene, in the study that you did, showed that manufacturing not only was declining, but our contribution, I guess, to the state was declining. Obviously, I'm standing here looking at my board members, manufacturers, all right? They're part of why we're here today. What's the argument for, in communicating with legislators, on why there should be support for manufacturing in Maryland as it relates to a better economy and, quite frankly, a stronger state?
You know, it's a shame that we even have to address that question to the legislature because it's so self-apparent, isn't it? But we do. I mean, at the end of the day, what the legislature seems to care about most is jobs, jobs, jobs. Jobs, 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 high-paying jobs, living wages, so on and so forth. Well, when you've got an industry that is associated with more than $200,000 in output per worker, you have high wages, high value added, more tax base. And what we've seen over the last couple of years, a period during which Maryland's economy has accelerated in terms of growth, is that Maryland needed manufacturing to grow to really take off economically. That you can't just do it with expecting increases in federal spending. That can't happen forever. I mean, there can be cycles of that. But Medicare goes insolvent in 2026. And that's when the fun really begins at the federal level. I mean, right now you cut taxes, increase spending, what? Who cares? $22 trillion in national debt. At some point, the bondholders are going to care. And I think it's going to happen around 2026 when Medicare goes insolvent. Because then you've really got to rearrange the budget. And then what does the federal government contracting environment look like? Not as secure. What would you like to have? A diversified economy. One that's not so centered around federal agency expenditures, outlays. And so it's important for many reasons, but jobs, jobs, jobs. And one of the things, Mike, that we have in this state now is some really large-scale developable sites. You can see it in downtown Taos and downtown Columbia, but of course most profoundly at Trade Point Atlantic. And we've talked about this before, that has got to be a manufacturing home run. We have got to attract some new manufacturing there. And I see what's going on in Charleston, South Carolina. And that was a tourism-oriented economy once upon a time, a fairly low-wage economy with some old Southern wealth, but that was about it. Now look at it. My goodness, you know, Greenville, South Carolina, you know, where BMW and Michelin engineers are now competing for $1.5 million condos downtown Greenville. There was never a downtown Greenville. There was 5 blocks of sort of specialty stores. That was it. Now look at downtown Greenville. My goodness, and their built environment. What created that? A larger middle class. What created that? Manufacturing. Imagine what any of this could have meant, a Volvo plant or whatever it is, to Cambridge or Cumberland or Baltimore, whatever it happens to be. It matters. And we have to be aggressive. And we know that the levers here are policy-oriented. Yeah, there's certain things we cannot control. We can't control the performance of the Chinese economy. We can't even control federal government policy. But we can do things along the dimension of training and taxes and so on and so forth. We've made some good decisions, I think, that have made this a more business-friendly environment for manufacturers, single sales factor, tax apportionment, corporate tax, so on and so on. We've done some things. We've not done enough.